Hi everybody, I'm the inspirational Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and remember, live, love, laugh as Flat Earthers.
And I'm North Tyneside Young Poet of the Year 1997, Adam Cleary. Welcome to the Wrestling News Show, the show where there's loads of wrestling news. This is Wrestling News. What have we got today?
Well, coming up today, I've got a little story for you all about Alistair Black.
I've got the latest in the saga between Seth Rollins and Will Ospreay on Twitter.
Got an update on Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows and their contract situations.
Speaking of which, there's the Styles heel turn revelations from backstage.
And you will not find a single rhyme in sight. Oh yeah, Donald Trump's in this video as well. That'll get you going. Can't wait for that.
What are we starting with?
This is the news.
This is the news.
You already did that bit.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with a little bit of a SmackDown recap, just like we talked about Raw yesterday, and AJ Styles and his massive, crazy heel turn, reforming the club with my bald brethren. We had an apparent face turn on this week's SmackDown. It was big Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So a really weird thing happened in the opening segment. Suddenly, Kevin Owens was acting like a babyface. He was battering Shane McMahon off. He was fannying on with the cue cards. He was suddenly a good guy again. All very jarring, but the good news is it came off really well by the end of the night, because the result of that segment was that him and Dolph Ziggler, who interrupted because WWE opening segments, were put together as like an odd couple tag team against Heavy Machinery, the winners of which will be put into a triple threat match for the SmackDown tag team titles at Extreme Rules, which already features Daniel Bryan and Rowan and the New Day. They lost, and in the end, after everything, Kevin Owens decided to give Ziggler a Stone Cold Stunner, or a KO Stunner.
KO Stunner, yeah.
Whatever they're called these days. This went over huge. It drew chants of one more time from the crowd. They were begging for him to just beat the piss out of Dolph because it's Dolph. And yeah, the whole thing came off really well. It looks like Kevin Owens is a babyface, and to me that kind of makes sense because he's just so much fun.
I'm all for this because you remember in his like long spell off, he's another one of these who got himself over massively on his own social media account. Now I know WWE lent into that and they started having him do all these weird videos that appeared on the screen, but that was after months and months of him just being really sound and really funny and really likable on his own social media. So in the same way that Styles yesterday, it felt like the character needed a big freshen up because he was wandering quite directionless and the heel turn seemed like the right thing to do. This is just the opposite side of that coin, isn't it? Because I didn't know what the hell they were going to do with heel Owens, the Zayn thing with coming here and there, and it was just more of the same, wishy-washy. We've never really had a run of face Kevin Owens on the main roster.
No,
and I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what he does with it.
I suppose the only real time he's been a proper babyface was his first night at that takeover, and even then, by the end of the night, he was beating up Sami Zayn, his best friend, after an emotional debut against CJ Parker. So yeah, I think this is really good stuff. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have been beaten like a drum over the past few months. I think their win-loss record is really terrible. You know, Owens was in the WWE title hunt for a while, but that has now expired. Him and Sami kind of look like a couple of losers. Turning one of them is a good shout. Can't wait to see what happens next. I
just think creatively he's the right kind of person to just give the ball and run to, which we're hoping a lot more happens because obviously with the new changes backstage, could be opportunities for superstars to do a bit more of what they want to do, and we're hoping that the influence of both Bischoff and Heyman leads to that. But one thing that apparently does not have their fingerprints on it at all, despite what we might have thought yesterday, is the club. Yeah, we reported yesterday that seemed to be the first thing, that one of the new sort of Heyman era elements of WWE, finally giving these underappreciated, underused superstars a bit of a run in the spotlight. But apparently the reports today from Post Wrestling said this has been in the pipeline for absolutely ages, both their push and the Styles heel turn. This had nothing to do with any change in management or Paul Heyman, and I don't know, it can be both for me, can't it?
Yeah.
I don't really see what it's going to be like. Well, it either definitely was Paul Heyman or it definitely wasn't. The guy's involved in the company and he had the reins last night. They might not have chosen to do it last night. They could have done it in a myriad of different ways, but it's just, I just don't want to think about this stuff too much. If the product's going to be good, I don't want to have to stress about whether or not it's coming directly from the top or from So
good TV's good TV.
There's more to unpack with this club thing. Like, we're going to get to the other element of this story in just a little bit, but by and large, I think again, more superstars who've been underused and underutilized, getting them a run in the spotlight. I mean, I'm not expecting them to be in the main event of Raw every single week going forward, but they're still an important part now, and Styles is a main eventer. Yeah. Having them with him is undoubtedly a good thing. I don't really care whose idea it was, but it would have been nice if it was Heyman.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most encouraging thing for me from this post-wrestling report commenting on this is the idea that this came as a result of several weeks of careful planning. Like, it wasn't just a last-minute, spur-of-the-moment thing, which suggests to me that the company will persist with it and do a good job with it going forward, because often when Vince McMahon just does does these things for the sake of doing things, he forgets about it the next week. Look at Bobby Roode. Look at Robert Roode. Sorry.
Yeah, remember him?
Remember his mustache?
His mustache.
That was good repackaging. Lasted about a fortnight. So yeah, here's hoping they persist with it. Here's hoping it's good. And in a slight change to our pre-prepared run sheet here, let's just talk about Gallows and Anderson for a second, seeing as that is the more logical order. They've obviously been in the spotlight a little more recently. They've been on TV regularly. They've been slagging off AJ for almost losing to Ricochet, and AJ's been slagging them off. It's all been a rare good time. This led to speculation that maybe a couple of months after reportedly turning down a new contract, they were thinking about staying with WWE. And guess what? That seems to be the case. PW Insider are reporting that the follically challenged duo have agreed to terms on a new contract. Nothing has been signed yet, so it isn't quite official, but it looks like they're going to stick around, and to me, that makes all the sense in the world.
If I was them and I was offered by WWE, look, we're going to give you an actual story to run with here, we're going to put you back with AJ, you're going to be tag team, we're going to use you properly, etc., etc. Here is a new contract to sign. I'd be like, yes, okay, I will sign that, depending on how that goes. If you can actually do that, if you can give us something to get our teeth into and an actual story to use, then absolutely, I will stay in the cushiest job in professional, the most secure job in professional wrestling. 100%. But I would, given the track record of doing these things, I would absolutely be waiting to sign that contract. I would give it 2 or 3 weeks to see whether or not they forget they're part of the club or not.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Or they could do what they've done with Mike and Maria Kanellis, wait till they sign a 5-year deal, and then immediately bury one of them.
That is, I mean, slightly off topic here, but that is, I've watched that back now. Me and Hamlet watched it 3 times to try and make sense of it. Is that the most embarrassing burial in one evening of a performer?
It's certainly up there.
It's the most Vince thing in the world, isn't it? Like, what is the most emasculating way I can ever bring down a male performer? I know, I'll use his wife.
If you were a fan of certain online verbiage, you might say that on Raw, Mike Kanellis was royally cooked. And speaking of which, Tell them the good news.
The good news? Well, there's 2 bits of good news in my book. I don't know which one best qualifies with that. But speaking of online verbiage, right. Now, I know you already know, but we're going to do a bit of roleplay where we pretend you don't. So you know how they want to do this big leagues thing when SmackDown goes to Fox?
New cameras.
New cameras, celebrity guests, all this. They want to make it feel like the biggest wrestling show on the planet. Well, in a bona fide, lockdown, set-in-stone report from Sportskeeda, which is not to be taken with any cynicism in any way, I might add.
Put your salt away.
Put your salt away, lads. One name has apparently been mentioned by Fox that they would like WWE to try and get. Somebody who has a history with the company, a rich wrestling pedigree, somebody who will be familiar to both fans of WWE and a casual audience at large, somebody who would set ratings through the roof, somebody who knows what's best for these. Any guesses?
Kamala.
It is not Kamala, it's Donald J. Trump. I presume J's the middle name. Yes.
Wow.
According to Sportskeeda, Fox want WWE to get the actual president of the United States of America and controversial figure, I bottled that, Donald Trump, the actual president of America, to be on the first episode of SmackDown to get something of a ratings boost. Now, I don't know if you know much about the media landscape in America, but Fox really likes Donald Trump.
So does Vince.
Fox really likes Donald Trump, and so does Vince. So I can believe it from that side of the story that they are willing parties in all of this. But they want him, they want to get him on, they want to try and write. I've got the exact quote for here, which absolutely popped my eyeballs out of its sockets. Where is it? They are trying to write something short and easy for him to make him look good. Now, one extra caveat to this, of course, you've got to remember, currently Linda McMahon works for Donald Trump, so there's another connection. It's starting to line up perfectly.
Yeah, I can see why they've reached this conclusion. I know we did a bit on taking pinches of salt and so forth, but seeing as a lot of people have difficulty differentiating between a bit and sarcasm and everything else, obviously take this with a pinch of salt because it's mental. The idea that the President of the United States of America is going to take time out of his schedule to appear on wrestling television. However, does go on an awful lot of golfing trips, doesn't he? Maybe he could just sacrifice one of those.
In the year of our Lord 2019, with the political landscape being what it is that the craziest story you've ever heard, that the President would take time out to go on WWE? Especially when the President is Donald Trump.
No, it's kind of not, but at the same time, like, it is mental. Like, in any other year, this would be the craziest thing ever.
Any other president, any other company, not going to happen.
Yeah.
2019, WWE Donald Trump. I actually think, you know what?
He's a Hall of Famer.
The more I read this, the more I'm like, I'm almost guaranteeing myself that's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I'm going to be slightly let down.
So if this happens when Raw and SmackDown come to the UK in November, are we getting Boris on SmackDown? Either way, comment section, you are going to have a field day with this story regardless of what we said here because it's Donald Trump. So
can I just point out how normalised we are to this now? Like 5 years ago, the reigning President of the United States and British Prime Minister, Donald J. Trump and Boris Johnson respectively, could be on WWE. And we're like, that's actually, it could be a good shout, that actually. Yeah, you can see why they'd want to do that. And that we're so normal, we're so numb to this situation now. What's the next one?
Shall we move on?
Please.
Alistair Black. He has been doing pretty much what I'm doing now. For the past couple of months, he's been sitting in a room shouting at a camera, asking people to come and pick a fight in my dark little room and all this stuff.
The Bard.
So
that's fascinating.
Last week, somebody finally knocked at this poor prick's door and he smiled and he was like, it was really, these segments absolutely suck. But anyway, someone knocked at the door. We learned this week that he answered the door and there was no one there. Now, Alistair Black has challenged whoever the hell that was to meet him at Extreme Rules, where they'll presumably have a match, and hopefully, please, for the love of God, end this stupid storyline.
A Knocky Nine Doors death match.
Someone's played Chappie.
You call it Chappie or you?
Chappie, yeah, Ding Dong Dash.
We should call it KDRF.
KDRF.
Kick door, run fast. Imagine that all sitting in his room. Dunk, 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 dunk. Oh, you little flaming bag of poo on the ground. Oh, damn it.
See a little kid running along the corridor. Alistair Black versus a child. Extreme Rules confirmed.
Book it.
Good thumbnail.
Book it. Yeah, I mean, there's talk this is Cesaro, isn't it?
Cesaro,
who's in the main men's main event muscle mafia.
The
main event muscle man.
Magic
Mike's main event muscle.
The full
mates.
Monty.
The full mates.
So confirmed, Alistair Black versus Robert Carlyle. Extreme Rules going down next.
Is that any crazier than something we've just reported as likely?
No, it's not. That's the thing.
Right, we've got finally the closing saga. The closing saga to this long-running narrative I've been proud to report upon for WhatCulture Wrestling. What started out as a bad take by Seth Rollins with some obnoxious language, followed by him doubling down, having a bit of a meltdown on Twitter, all the while Will Ospreay somehow comes out with this smelling like roses, finally seems to put to bed last night because Seth Rollins, again, this is another example of WhatCulture fixing wrestling, by the way. After we went in and said, please kill this title rematch rule, and they did it. Obviously, we did the video saying, look, Seth, this is a bad look. We like you. Just make it right. You're a good guy. And look what he's done. Obviously, he's watched it and obviously he's listened. After a few days to sit on it, he says, I'd like to apologise to @Will Ospreay for the tweet I sent his way comparing bank accounts. It was dumb of me and not in line with my values. The moment I pressed the send button, I knew it was trash, but I'm too stubborn for my own good. Then he followed up by saying, I stand by all my sentiments that WWE is the best pro wrestler on the planet and that I'm the best at doing what I am right now. After a hell of a week of travel, our crew didn't waver for a second. Top level humans busting their asses for the love of the game. Seth Rollins, my hat goes off to you. That's all it takes. Don't be too proud of those things. Just take the L. And he's taken the L and he's apologised to Ospreay, and he's still managed to put all the boys over in the process. He's made Ospreay look like a good guy, he's made the crew look like a good guy, he's made the roster look like a good guy. That is the behaviour of a genuine, bona fide locker room leader, and I salute him for it.
Yeah, he's done well here. We praised, myself and Adam Nicholas yesterday, we praised Roman Reigns for his approach when it came to Jon Moxley, in the kind words he said on his former brother there. It's only right to acknowledge Seth for doing the same. He has taken the L, he is holding it tight. It'll never go away, but that's how you apologise online. And Will Ospreay had some...
Will Ospreay has accepted the apology with the words, apology accepted. He just said, buy me a Nando's, winky face. Now, I messaged you this morning. Do you reckon Seth Rollins has the first idea what a Nando's is?
Absolutely not.
Do you think he thinks it's Tyler Breeze's tag partner?
Absolutely yes.
Apparently there are some Nando's in the United States, but we will explain for those who are unfamiliar with the concept of the Nando's. Nando's is a very cheeky chicken restaurant.
Cheeky chicken.
Here in the United Kingdom, where you and your cheeky mates can go for a cheeky Nando's, which effectively, they've come up with this big business model of selling chicken and chips for over a tenner. It's genius.
Yeah.
It is quite...
It's alright.
I like a cheeky Nando's every now and then.
It's alright.
They get quite popular with athletes because it is just like chicken, and instead of getting chips, you can get like slightly lower carb. Yeah, you can get like vegetables and stuff. So athletes, basketball players, like footballers, they all absolutely love Nando's. And Wilborn, put it this way, it's the most Wilborn restaurant in the United Kingdom.
It's so Wilborn, it almost hurts.
Yeah, I don't think Rollins is going to buy Ospreay and Nando's at any point. However, if you want to do an apology, you make that happen, don't you?
Yeah.
You send him a Nando's, or you take him for a Nando's or something next time they're in the country. But yes.
Cut to Snapchat in 3 days.
A nice end to that story.
Yeah, really good. Glad they've buried the hatchet. The beef is over.
The beef is squashed.
Much like Jay-Z and Nas collaborating on Black Republicans, these guys are going to enjoy a cheeky Nando's together. Shall we move on to the Twitter questions?
Please.
So, I've copied them into my Google Docs, way too small to read. I'm going to give it a bash for.
Do it.
I'm going to give it a bash for.
Oh,
no, it doesn't work. Never mind.
Have you got your screen on lock rotate?
Nah, mate, it's on auto, but this is a riveting
Whenever you see someone's got their screen on lock rotate, you know what that means?
What's that
means they've locked it when it's been sideways because they're trying to knock one out with it in bed.
Oh.
You can always tell.
Anyway, moving on. The first question comes from Andrew Patty, and he asks, is WWE missing an opportunity if they, I think this is a brilliant idea, if they don't put the 24/7 title on broken Matt Hardy to defend at the Hardy compound? Could have Jeff Hardy cameos, social media segments, feels like it could be fun watching R-Truth snoop around the compound.
Me and Hamfler talked on length about this yesterday on the Raw Review podcast because we really like what they're doing with it, but the problem with it's going to be keeping it fresh because obviously I think they've given it to the stars and said, look, just do what you want with this. You guys are so good at getting yourself over. We'll give you a bit of a platform. Just do what you want. It's been good so far. But obviously the whole nature of the belt means it's going to have to be on a good rotation of stars and they have to find new things to do with it. The airport skit I thought was excellent, the lifting was good, bringing it into a wedding, all good ideas, but they're going to have to keep these coming in before sort of the writers get their hands on it and go, just hide under the ring for 20 minutes and stuff like that. So taking it to the broken Hardy compound, like Matt Hardy wins it, leaves, and then like you don't hear of him for like 2 weeks. Then it's like, you want this belt, come and get it. Then you get a shot of like 50 WWE superstars all walking across the grass together. Oh, that'd be great.
They could do that as a network special like TNA did with the Tag Team Apocalypto thing. Just have like an hour of them fanning around with the what's the drone called? Vanguard 1.
Vanguard 1.
Senor Benjamin with Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat, all this stuff. I think it'd be amazing. King Maxwell
could win it.
Legends, but he could win it. Yeah, a little literal baby could be the champion. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be very good. And I love that suggestion. Let's move on. Cowboy James, regular contributor, asks,
to Mr. and Mrs. James, your son, Cowboy.
Donald Cerrone. What do you think AEW could use as their secondary titles? Intercontinental, United States, Hardcore, etc., and who should hold it first?
Genuinely, I think for the first at least a year, I would like them to see them use other promotions' belts as their secondary titles. Not have them necessarily routinely on television, sort of do storylines away from belts, but then at the big shows, you can have like somebody come in to challenge like one of the IWGP titles, maybe even the Ring of Honor title, whoever they can get a relationship going with. Maybe even the 24/7 title. Let's dream about that in this crazy world. I'd like to see that for a bit. Just to sort of to give it a feel that it's connected to the rest of the wrestling world as opposed to being its little island on its own.
This thing on its own. That's a really good idea. Perhaps
maybe even the Defiant Internet Championship.
Yeah. You could have Pac maybe come in and defend the Open the Dream Gate. You could have the NWA Championship perhaps. No, I think it'd be cool. That's a really cool suggestion. As far as AEW having their own mid-card title, I don't really want to see that until at least 6-7 months, maybe a year down the line. I think just let it settle in with the main belt for now and then take it from there. But yeah.
I want the mid-card to feel like a mid-card with sort of a bit of a hierarchy and a pecking order, and it needs to feel like, right, we've got all these guys, they're all really good, we now need a way for one of them to step above the rest.
Yeah.
Here is the other... Like the same way they did with NXT. Like NXT didn't need a mid-title for ages and ages and ages, and when they finally did bring in the North American Championship, it felt right and it felt important and 100%. It felt needed.
It would be cool to answer the second part of your question, a TV title I'd really like to see defended every single week. Give it to whatever babyface you want to build up. Have them hold it for like 3-4 months. Pass it over. Be cool. Final question comes from Kyle David Smith. This is a good one for yourself, given your prior work experience, Mr. Cleary. With NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff coming soon, do you think that this will house the surprise return of Tegan Knox?
I actually said when they announced this, that was one of the first things I thought, given her like scheduled recuperation time from her second devastating injury in WWE. This seems absolutely perfect because she is from the valleys, as she's quite proud of telling people. It would be one of the greatest pops I think NXT UK will ever likely get if they can return her at that show. And we know how highly WWE rate her. She was supposed to win, we believe, the Mae Young Classic when she went out in the semis to Rhea Ripley. Was it when she did her knee again?
Yes.
To blow the other knee out after some 18 months recuperating the first one, especially at her young age as well. Like she's still, I think, under 25.
Something like that.
Something like that. She's still got a long career ahead of her. So provided she can keep her knees in working order. Although God knows, with her luck, God knows what will be next. If they return her to maybe even win the Women's Championship at NXT UK Cardiff, that would be that would be one of the most genuinely emotional moments WWE have produced in a long time, I think. In years.
I think it'd be brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. If she's ready to go, to me, it's almost a no-brainer. Like, have her win the belt, have her established as this major deal, and so forth. Yeah, that'd be great.
Did I accidentally call her Nixon Newland instead of Tegan Knox? I can never get out of this, like, WWE indie name thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steph.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to our and finally. Now, here at WhatCulture, like, you know, we've got quite a brilliant group of people here. We've got comic book people, we've got movie people, we've got gaming people, we've got myself and Adam Cleary, and I'm not saying that we are in the sharpest minds in the wrestling business, but we're definitely in the top two. Either way, Adam Cleary, what the hell is this?
Right.
What?
He said, oh, don't worry, I've got an and finally footage. I said, oh, what is it? You went, I'm not showing you. You just see it on the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's Avengers of Justice Farce Wars, starring Shawn Michaels as a goblin with my ears.
Well, I guess he's meant to be the Hulk, but is this pornography?
It might be. It was tweeted to me by Henry Mendoza, who says, "Have you guys seen this? What the is Shawn Michaels doing? Lazy eye green guy."
This looks like a Ben Roy Photoshop, doesn't it?
It looks like a bongo. Josh Brown's personal DVD collection has been pilfered.
So we've got here. I'm guessing that's maybe a costume Yoda and the Hulk, judging by the ears and the body.
Yeah.
That dude's obviously meant to be the Joker.
That's Adam Nicholas there.
I know her from somewhere. That's Amy Smart from American Pie.
It is.
Jesus, what happened there?
What is this?
I don't know what that is. That is. I need to watch that.
I mean, we could Google this, but I'd rather people in the comment section try to explain it to us.
I would genuinely like to watch that as a stream.
Should we literally do that now?
Cool. Yeah, we've got another hour and a half of this morning news to fill, don't we?
Pitch incoming anyway. That'll do us. Thank you for joining us on this 21-minute news video. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at WhatCulture. No, you cannot, at WhatCulture WWE. Send us your Twitter questions. Whoever's doing the afternoon video will get to those later on. Good afternoon, all that stuff.
Good afternoon.
Hashtag this is the news, all that good stuff. You can find Adam Cleary on Twitter at
Adam Cleary, CLERY.
And you can find me at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for hippopotamus. Goodbye.
I wish the H could have been related to that in some way. Not the picture, not your crotch.
I was like, my willy?
Yeah, my willy?